owl. Oh, I should probably explain that as we go live. And I'm talking about something howling, but I have a little Chihuahua that thinks he's part of every show, so you can't see him because he's down on the floor. But
he's down around your ankles.
Exactly, but when he you don't pay attention, he howls like, I don't know if you guys do you have like hyenas or anything out where you're at. Yeah. I think
we have a little Shih Tzu, and does the same thing. When it doesn't get the attention, it starts whining, barking, and moaning, and carrying on.
Yeah, so, I never heard anything like it before. It sounds like someone's stabbing him or something. I mean, it sounds like he's in excruciating pain. He just starts howling, and it's just he's lonely.
I just want attention.
Yeah, exactly. If we did that, we would be, told to, put in our place or whatever.
Yeah, toughen up or whatever. We certainly would be told to sharpen up our people skills.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And with that, everybody, welcome to Social Cafe Live. Tonight we have Greg from SMQE. Wait, I've been trying to practice this.
Social Media Q.
I keep hearing that from the last time we chatted. I'm like, I'm going to get this rhythm. I'm going to let you say it because it's got that cool rhythm when you say it.
Yeah, SMQUEUE.
There we go. Okay, yeah, what Greg said. So welcome, Greg.
Yeah. Thank you.
You want to, for those that didn't see the Web Tools TV version, you want to tell people a little bit about your company, about your tool, about you, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, well, SMQ is where we're going with SMQ. It's just not going to be your everyday tool. We're actually actively programming it all the time, adding new features, and within the next 2 to 3 months, there'll be a sort of command center where you have your email plugged in, your Skype plugged in, your Facebook sharing, your LinkedIn sharing, be able to see your Twitter mentions and messaging. You can see that now, and just share across a range of platforms. And it's designed to actually save you time. So rather than having to plug into 3 different areas or 4 different platforms, we're incorporating it all into one.
Wow. So is it a tool that would compete with Hootsuite and Social Oomph and some of those? Or it sounds almost like it's an organizational tool.
Yeah, and yes, it will compete, not only compete with them, but within the next 12 months, outstrip them.
Excellent. Yeah, because you're mentioning things like integrating with Skype. I'm trying to picture that. Or how would I describe that? So the Skype messages actually come in and they can see it within the dashboard.
Yeah, within the dashboard. Yeah, precisely. Cool. So you don't have to go sort of all of a sudden go open another tab for Skype. You'll be able to do it from within SMQ.
Wow. And that's an advantage too, because it's not like we have unlimited CPU resources. By the time we open 40 apps, it's going to slow down.
Yeah. And that's basically that's the end aim of SMQ, is to get the more popular things people are using and plug them into SMQ. So therefore, say you're on Pinterest or Instagram, to have all that incorporated into SMQ, your Google Plus pages, so you can see what's being said and reply to them, and also share content.
So now, is there a search mechanism so that you can search what's being said? Kind of like the Google Alerts will send you an email and say, hey, you've been mentioned and so forth. Or is it, what am I asking here? I think I'm asking for the search mechanism that goes beyond, for example, the Twitter handle or the Pinterest username, that you can actually search for mentions of you as a brand.
Yeah, long term we will have that in there. Short term, no, it's not there at the moment. But it's certainly one of the features on the drawing board.
Gotcha. So eventually it's, for example, here we go. Here's a better example. Catching the reference to SMQ without the hashtag. Eventually that will be something that you'll be able to do.
Correct.
Great. So what platforms do you support right now?
We do Twitter, and we do Facebook, and we do LinkedIn, and we'll be moving to Google Plus pages in the next 10 days.
Wow. And what is it now? You just had like a new facelift, or was that more of a user interface? Well, I shouldn't say you just had. That was like new as of the last time that we chatted. So now it's probably old news. But
yeah, it's old news. And as of next week, there will be a new landing page there as well.
Wow, you're like constant. I think you change more often than most, which is good, because these tools that you go sign up for a tool and you wonder where the developers went, or they collected their money and went off someplace, and nobody's supporting the tool.
No. Well, we've recognized the landing page isn't dynamic enough, so we've changed that and we're moving that around, and that will be up next week. And it's a more interactive landing page. It's going to have a GIF file to show people how easy it is to share photos.
Excellent. 'Cause that's definitely something people need to be doing. I've seen so much talk about, which you'd think it was like all the rage several years ago, but it's like people are finally catching on in 2015 that images.
Yeah, and since we last talked, if people are using RSS feeds, what will happen now is if you do an RSS feed to your Twitter account, you'll actually get a Twin Pics image appearing.
Excellent. And they can feed in any, like it doesn't have to be their own. They could feed in any RSS feed.
No, any news feed, any inspirational feed, any photo feed, they all plug in.
So if somebody went out there and they found another, a user that just sends out the best inspirational quotes and that's all they send out, and there's really nothing else, no conversation, so they don't have to worry about noise. They could just, feed that RSS feed, and now they've augmented.
Yep, straight in. And if the person includes a photo in the quote, it will get posted as well.
Excellent. And is that that's a link to a new photo, or would that be the photo? You know how that, like the TwitPic creates a new one then, so there's a new image.
Yeah, there's a new image, and it becomes unique to that person who's sharing it. It ends up in their Twin Pic album.
Wow. Is there anything that your tool doesn't do? It's like, this is so amazing.
Oh, no, there's a lot. Look, we've got a lot of work to do on the analytics, and we've got a lot of work to do on cross-sharing and putting the Gmail stuff and Hotmail into there. So, we've got a fair bit of work in front of us, but it's about taking it on head-on and getting it done.
Excellent. It doesn't sound like you have a lot of competitors, especially when you start adding Gmail, Hotmail, Skype, some of those. I don't think you have any competitors out there, do you?
And that's why we're calling it a command center rather than a tool.
Command center. I like that. SMQ command center.
Yeah. It's not about being smarter, bigger, or better. It's about being different. And we're rebranding ourselves next week when we launch a new landing page. We're removing a smarter way to share and connect to a different way to do social media.
I think you really hit on something there. For anyone else that's out developing a tool, not a competitor tool, though, of course, but a tool out there, I think that's so key as far as doing something different. Because I've talked to a lot of tool developers, and maybe 90% of it is like another tool, but it's that 10% that really sets people aside, or sets people apart.
And that's what we're working on, is looking at how to differentiate ourselves from the other platforms.
Excellent. Now, one of the things that I really highlighted in our Twitter chat was the recurring part, because that was something that initially drew me to SMQ, as far as being able to put, multiple, because you could find, I think we talked about this a bit on the web tools, but you could find platforms that would allow you to do recurring, but then they couldn't be the same status update, or you could find scheduling, you could find one or the other, but SMQ allows you to have recurring and the same content.
Yeah, what the recurring queue actually does, Deb, it works through in a very intelligent way and works out what posts are supposed to go at the times you've selected are more suited to your audience, and it just logically goes through in a very random order and picks those posts out. Once it goes through the whole queue, it resets and starts off in a different order to your time slots.
Wow. And you can set the time slots as far as these are the optimal time slots, and then it will actually look at those.
Yeah, and look at them and see what you've shared, how you've shared it before, and reshare more suitable content from your recurring queue into those time slots.
Excellent. Now, I know I should have went and watched our interview, because I probably have an answer for this. But then again, that wouldn't help the viewers that are just tuning in for the first time. But as far as how do you handle the updates with the images? Or is that that's not something that you can really, like, you can't bulk upload those, right? You'd have to.
No. The bulk uploads are still specifically to text files or a link. Now, with the link next week, as we move into releasing the upgrades next week, when someone puts a link in there for Twitter, and this is basically, it already does it for Facebook and LinkedIn, it will share the photo from that link. With Twitter, what it will be doing is grabbing the photo and sharing it as Twin Pics as well.
So is that like a Twitter card type functionality?
No. What we do is we drill down into the website, find the photo, and post it as a full-size Twitter photo, as a Twitter pic photo, or pic Twitter photo, sorry.
That I think that alone is a feature that sets you apart from everybody else. Because I remember I wrote an article on like how to use Twitter cards, and it seems I didn't find it that confusing, but I remember talking to people. It's like, how do I implement this on my site? So it became so confusing to so many people. But it sounds like if they sign up for your tool,
Yeah.
you do the work for them.
Yeah, basically, it's all about automating things and making it easy for people to use. And the ease of use is what we are trying to differentiate ourselves from all the other platforms.
And I think you mentioned that you really listen to like user feedback. Is that some of, as far as your process for?
Very important. Person can just email support@smq.com. So support@smqueue.com and say, look, I would like this feature. Can we get this in? Can we get that in? Someone will actually reply, and it will actually go off in the features desk.
Wow. So you don't have to have like a separate, here's our little feature bucket and you have to put it in there. You can literally just go to support.
Yeah, and we will put it in support for them.
I think you've answered, you've answered personally. I'm really impressed with, I've contacted support and heard from you, Greg.
Yeah, look, if you are driving something, you have got to have your finger on the pulse, and there's no use being standoffish. I want to see what's coming across the desk, who wants what, is it feasible? If it's not feasible, let them know it's not feasible or it's outside of the API rules. I mean, we're bounded by rules from all the different platforms, and we've got to comply to those rules. And if it's possible and it's within inside their guidelines, we're more than happy to do it.
And, you know, we just listed another advantage as far as if we're making a list of the advantages of using SMQ as far as the rules. Because have you found these rules change frequently? Twitter, Facebook, like what's the worst as far as changing rules?
I'm not going to single anyone out, but yes, they change and they change constantly. And it's about being abreast of the changes and respecting their changes because they want to run their platforms in a different way. And it's about embracing those changes and doing something with them.
So if someone signs up for SMQ, you know, part of it is they don't have to keep track of all of the changes as far as staying within the rules because the tool itself won't let them like blatantly break the rules.
Correct. And we're very conscious of that.
That is so helpful because it could be a full-time job just keeping track of some of the rules that change.
And what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, etc., etc. And every platform has its own individual way of looking at things.
That's so true. I didn't even know that Amazon, I don't do this, but I happened to be like poking around WordPress plugins. I saw something that was an Amazon plugin that stripped out the Amazon links out of the RSS feed. I thought, well, why would you want to strip it? And then there was an explanation of the plugin that says that you're not allowed to have Amazon affiliate links in the RSS. I thought, whoa, yeah. You know, I'm an affiliate. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's all those things like that we have to be accountable back to our members and make sure we're on top of it all and making sure we deliver a product that complies to all the platform's rules.
There must be something, and I'm not asking you to divulge your trade secrets and any kind of thing like that, but there must be some way that a company can keep on the pulse as far as like notifications coming out from the different platforms, vendors. Even if it's a lot of reading, there must be some way that you can keep track of them.
A lot of reading. You've got to keep visiting the platforms weekly, not monthly. You got to visit them weekly and read where they want to go, how they want to do it, and things of that nature.
And I think most platforms are pretty considering, when I log into, even Amazon, it's like, okay, we updated this, please signify that you've read it, which I think many of us, not you, of course, Greg, but, we'll click on it that we read it when we're just like, I just want to do my stuff. But in your case, you're actually sitting there reading it.
Oh, yeah. Now, every time there's a change to the API rules, we go through and read it thoroughly and read it not once, not twice, but at least half a dozen times. We print it out, it's circulated, comment within the development group, and then we move forward from there.
And that's stellar. That is incredible that you have that in place in your tool.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, if we're to survive in a very competitive environment, we have to do it.
That makes sense.
Because there's some applications or tools out there that aren't complying, and sooner or later they get shut down. They might get away with it for 6 months or maybe even 12 months. But someone lodges a complaint, the platform looks at it and goes, hey, this isn't right. They close it straight down.
I had a
They don't
company
get
like that. Oh, not me personally, but I ran across one today, and I won't say the name of it because they did rectify the situation, so I will applaud them for that. But it was actually, um, they were like not granting me access to something that I paid for, and I was quoting some laws in the U.S. and you're doing business in the U.S. Not that it's about the U.S., but it's about if you're going to do business, there that we could look at, some of the laws as far as your ability to do business. And they came back and they said, you know what, the $8 isn't worth it. I think,
no, no, no. That's why, Deb, with us, the $10 entitles people to share in just in the main queue, 200 posts, and the recurring queue, 400 posts can go there. They can have up to 15 different social media accounts. We don't cap any of their automation. They've got access to the whole lot. And the $30 payment, the biggest difference there, you're allowed more social media accounts and more content. And that's the big difference.
Is huge. Like if you broke that down, I could pull up my calculator or have you replay the numbers. What's that, like fractions of a penny per post?
Oh, it's less. It's 2 cups of coffee a week for a month's use.
I'd probably do that at least just in the morning alone one day.
And if you think about it, now think about this scenario. I've actually had the scenario where and I've had this feedback come back to us where a particular person has had posts and reliant on the posts going out for upcoming sales and things that they're promoting on Twitter and Facebook. They've become sick. They haven't been able to get to their social media, yet they had the mouse to put it in the recurring queue. The content kept going out while they were in bed sick. Their income kept coming in.
Wow. And that easily, $10, that even like the scenario with the cup of coffee, that easily pays for that. And then some.
Yeah, and what's your time worth? Is it worth two cups of coffee a month?
At least, no. I was going to say definitely more than that, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. But that's the whole argument, is break it down to the fact $10 a month gives you, it's less than 30 cents a day. So when you start, if you do 30 posts a day, there's 1 cent per post it's costing you.
You can't even get a soda for 30 cents a day anymore. Maybe
No. And when you think about people that sit there and go, oh no, I've got to do it myself, and they sit there and load up the content and post it or schedule it for a specific time, such as some of the apps force you to do, how long does that take you?
Too long.
Too long. Far too long.
I'm looking at myself going, I look tired even saying that. Too long.
Yeah, far too long. And what we do is, especially with the bulk upload mechanism, you can put 200 bits of content into a simple text file, upload it, and it's done in a matter of seconds. It's done under 15 seconds.
Excellent. And
go
ahead, because I lost that thought anyway. So go ahead.
Yeah, and basically then what SMQ does is works in the background, gets all the links and all the images for those links, and gets them ready to be posted out.
And that's something I haven't seen. Like I won't name the competitors because I'm not here to try to tell people to try something, but I think there's maybe one other, maybe 2 others tops that even do the one other. Oh, see, you can read my mind. That's pretty good, Greg.
Yeah.
But you do it even as far as being able to pull that image. I don't know if that one other that I'm thinking does that. So you're a step ahead right there.
Yeah, and that's the biggest difference. And as I said on the onset of the conversation today, we are really branding ourselves as a different way of doing social media. And it's not about being smarter or more awesome or more amazing or getting serious about doing social media. It's about being different and giving your end user a better experience.
And that could be said even about branding in general, even beyond a tool, as far as whatever you're offering. Maybe it's social media marketing coaching, just to give them exactly what Greg said. So hit the rewind and listen to what he just said.
Just giving people differentiating yourself from the competition. And that's where we've gone since we last chatted. We've really started refocusing our business on being different and providing a different experience to the end user.
Excellent. Now, there is something, a while back, I talked to another person in the social media marketing sector. Now, he wasn't actually as active. But anyway, this isn't about talking about his background because I'm not naming his name. But his key thing was he was not going to automate or schedule anything because everything had to be live tweeted because of ethics. And I really respect his view on that. But if you had somebody come up to you and say that, what would you answer as far as that balance between the real person versus scheduled?
Okay. I always recommend people do a mixture of things. Do a bit of scheduling, do a bit of live chatting. You can't be awake 24/7. And now with social media, you have a worldwide audience in 17 different time zones, or 24 different time zones if you want to get technical, across the world. How are you going to stay awake 24/7 and talk to those people 24/7, right? At the same time, by sharing your content and being rational about the way you share your content into the different time zones, you can reach out to more people, reply to them when you're actually alive, and spend your 90 minutes a day or your half an hour a day doing your replies and that, but allowing your content to go out at the same time.
And you certainly figure.
Yeah, by doing that, then what you're doing is you're keeping your feed active. You're being responsible about, providing to your audience content all the time, and not being, oh well, I'm tied up for the next 2 days on a special project, so no one's going to hear from me. Right? I mean, how does that leave the end user? Well, aren't I important enough that he's putting posts out now because he only wants to answer them live? And what happens if he gets sick for a week? How does he reply to that? How's he going to do his tweeting and his Facebooking and his everything else for a week if he's sick? You can't.
Exactly.
So
when you say that, I say, why would I care? But I do care, Greg, if you said that I'm going to be offline doing a project. But I mean, that initial, especially for those of us who are so active, and even when we're, dog tired and we're crawling, bathrobe, and we're crawling over the laptop because we have to respond to someone, we feel we have to. And then somebody says, oh, I'm going to be offline because I'm so important, I'm doing this. I don't mean to knock it, but it's that kind of response. It's, I agree with you that if you have at least something automated, it feels like they care.
Yeah, and it's not about isolating yourself from your end user or your followers, and it's about being part of a whole big global market. And social media is about being global. It's not about being in your backyard.
That's a really good point. Yeah, 24 time zones, 17. I'm thinking 7 of those, and obviously are in the ocean. So.
Yeah, no. But even in the ocean, if you look at the band that time zones cover, there's an island, there's communications. There are 24 different time zones for communications around the world.
Wow, that's really cool if you think about, a couple hundred years ago, we didn't have access. It's like, people would say sayonara, like I'm thinking in the United States, I don't know how it works in Australia, but, they're headed out west and you might not see them again. Now you can tweet them.
I know, and that's what it's all about. And people have to, first of all, realize that, if they've got 100,000 followers or even 1,000 followers, right? Those people are following them for a reason. And in supporting your followers and supporting and giving them a good message, just say you're just into motivational quotes, nothing else. Now, if you didn't schedule things and all of a sudden you were sick for a week and you had particular followers that really were inspired by your quotes, and for a week they didn't get any, you lose a lot of traction. And automation is not the end to all end. It's another tool in the box to keep the traction where it is.
Definitely. And by the way, what you just described, I had that happen where I used to send out inspirational quotes and something happened and I said, oh, I'll come back to this in a week. And it's like 6 weeks later and you lose attraction. I used to have a lot of retweets on quotes and you have to start all over and rebuild that back up.
Yeah. And they go, well, is she going to disappear again for another 6 weeks?
Exactly.
Right? Or is he going to disappear for 6 weeks? So I think that sort of pretty much covers people that, and I do respect them saying, oh, no, I've got to personally handle everything. But I think that basically covers the scenario where a lot of people are fairly time-starved. And if they were to reply to every single tweet they got, they wouldn't have a life. They'd be on it 24/7 answering people.
Yes. And then they'd probably be crabby with their loved ones anyway. So, Exactly. I have one last question for you, and I'm not even exactly sure how to word it. I wish Con were here. Con is my partner in crime as far as the Twitter chat goes, and he asked about hashtag, or he expressed, we were talking about like recurring status updates, whether, I keep thinking Twitter, but no matter what the platform, and the hashtags. I'm not sure if he's looking for like an auto suggest, so there's less work in trying to figure out
Okay.
hashtags.
Well, some good news on that front. Within the next fortnight, we'll actually have in under our platform. So you'll be able to be in right tag, do your hashtagging, and put it straight into your main queue.
Whoa, okay. You actually answered it even better than I worded the question. That's excellent.
Yeah. Yeah. So as a game, and I just want to support what I was saying earlier. We're about being proactive and not sort of sitting on our thumbs or on our hands going, oh yeah, we could do that, we could do that. There's a lot of other very good intermediate platforms out there that encourage you to piggyback off them, and that's what we're starting to look at is, okay, if we incorporate this platform in, how can it help our end user? How can it help them in automation? And is it going to serve a better purpose for them?
And you really have that global view, that, like you said, command center. I think that's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And at the end of the day, it's not perfect at the moment. And then again, what is perfect? But we're certainly working very hard to deliver a much better outcome for the end user.
Very cool. And Greg, we're having a drawing on our wrap up for our tool series, for this tool series. We have multiple tool series, but for this is our first one for 2015. We're having a wrap up on the 16th of June. Actually, maybe, okay, if I misquote that somewhere in June. This is pretty bad. I designed this, and there's only so much data that fits in at one time. But if they win on the SMQ, what do they win?
If they win, they get access to it, right? They get access to we're more than happy to give them an extended trial period, or maybe even a 9 for 13 offer where they pay for 9 and they get 13 months. Cool.
Excellent. And what I'll do is on the little giveaway code, I'll put what you just said. I'll clip that out of the video and we put it there so that people can actually see that. So
yeah. So if they come in on their code, we will personally edit their accounts so they will get a 9 for 13 offer.
Very cool. Thank you so much for doing that. The Social Cafe community thanks you.
Okay. No problems.
And with that, thank you for joining us for Social Cafe and for telling us a little bit more about yourself, about especially your philosophy for SMQ. That's really helpful. I love ethical companies. And of course, SMQ and how it's differentiated from other tools and the command center of the internet.
And that's where we're heading, and that's been the end game for some time, is to differentiate ourselves from all the rest.
Excellent. And how do people find you?
They just have to put in their browser smqueue.com and it will land straight on our landing page. And if they do it next week, they'll get a brand new landing page with GIF animation there, showing them how easy it is to use, explaining what the recurring queue is about, how they can connect on the mentions and messagings on Twitter and the updates on LinkedIn, and how RSS feeds are plugged in there as well.
Excellent. I giggle. I love listening to you say that, Greg. I would hit replay. I just love that. Thank you so much for joining us for Social Cafe. We loved having you. And guys, we will see you same time, same place next week.
Have a great week. Bye.